everybody, welcome to episode 63, the Joys of Games podcast. We're recording this on a Thursday night, September 14th, 2017. I am one of your hosts, Josh Brown. I am joined by the man wearing his Ugg boots, holding a pumpkin spice latte, none other than Colin Wheeler. Hi, Colin.
Hi, I'll have you know that I'm actually wearing a scarf today, not my Ugg boots.
Ooh.
Because my scarf does not match my Ugg boots.
Is it an infinity scarf?
Obviously.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Who do you think you're talking to?
Colin, how ready for fall are you?
I'm so ready. It has been so hot and gross, and it's been a long summer, so
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go into the fall, ready to get into Halloween season, and then off to Thanksgiving. It's going to be great.
We have rain in the forecast, which
Yes.
I'm kind of a believe it when I see it type of guy when it comes to this rain now.
Sure.
Which is weird to say in the Pacific Northwest, but yeah, it's been that kind of summer, man. Everything's burning around us. We need some rain desperately.
Yeah.
Also, it's fall. The air is getting a little crisp. It's oh man, it's like a week away from being hoodie season, and I'm so excited.
I know. I have so many sweatshirts that are just hanging out. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm ready for you guys. Don't
Yeah.
worry, I'm ready.
I put one on tonight, and I was like, not quite. Still a little warm, but man, I'm going to wear it just because I'm trying to get ready for it, man. I love hoodies. Hoodies are the best.
Yes.
It's also football season. That's important. But the most important thing is that it's video game season, Colin.
Yeah, once Madden starts, that's when it all goes downhill or uphill, depending on how you're looking at it.
Downhill for your wallet, uphill for your overall entertainment value.
That's right.
Productivity, downhill. Uphill, achievements and trophies. Downhill, your social life. Uphill, everything else. Yeah, Madden was released. Floodgates are open. We got games coming hot and heavy. Of course, last week on our Xbox episode, we talked about like the first like big game of the season, Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that the game is way bigger than we might have even gave it credit for last week.
Yeah, like 1 million, almost 1.5 million active users. That's pretty crazy in the first week.
Mm-hmm. And this is all before PC players get their hands on it. So,
Right.
You know, those numbers are going to jump up. I wonder what the PC Destiny 2 crowd is going to do to PlayerUnknown Battleground numbers. Like, is that where we're going to see it plateau a little bit?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised because they're both shooters and they're both kind of like, I could see they're easily all the PUBG people transitioning into that to try it out. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm curious. Like, that's going to be like the first real test for that game, you know, is how much will Destiny 2 take over, you know, the player base. But I mean, ultimately, people are playing video games, and that's the best part of it all, right?
Yep. Indeed.
This week, it's our week of PlayStation. We have lots of hot things to talk about, PlayStation-wise. This might be the most anticipated episode that we've ever done. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I couldn't disagree with you more.
You've been on pins and needles all week, Colin. Like, every 20 minutes, I look at my phone. There's another text. Are we podcasting yet? Can we podcast yet? Are you ready to podcast? Nope, not yet, Colin. Gotta wait. Gotta ride this out, my friends. Prolong it, delay it, and savor it as much as possible. Because this episode is here, Colin. This is the episode. If there's ever an episode for you to take to one of your friends or colleagues or associates and say, hey, check out this cool gaming podcast that's not like other gaming podcasts. You should listen to this. Check it out. See what you think. This would be the episode to show people. If we can't get new listeners from this episode, we're done. Just put a fork in us. We're done, Colin. You're excited.
No. No. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to me?
Because I only have one chance to do this, and I'm going to enjoy it as much as possible. Before we get into all that good stuff, though, do we have any like news or anything you want to talk about to try to push this out as far as you can?
No. I think it's like a Band-Aid. I just gotta rip it off and just get it over with. It's really not a lot. TGS is coming up once that happens.
Yeah.
I think we'll hear some other stuff, but right now it's kind of crickets.
You see the rumor about Dragon's Crown coming to PS4?
Which one is Dragon's Crown?
That was that Vita game that everybody was upset about because it was displaying very scantily clad women in very unrealistic proportions.
I do remember that. But I heard the game was really good, though.
I loved it. It was so fantastic. It's a Vanillaware game.
Oh, okay.
And they make really good games.
Yeah.
At TGS, somebody took a picture of a banner that was hung up that said pre-order Dragon's Crown for the PS4 now.
Oh, that pretty much confirms it then.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. They also announced Okami for PS4 and Xbox One, which is cool.
Question.
Yes.
Will the IGN logo be on the cover of the game this time?
I hope so. 'Cause it's hilarious.
That's fantastic. For anyone that doesn't know, when they re-release it on the Wii, is that correct?
Yes.
Whoever published the game and manufactured and put out the slip cover into the slip jacket of the actual box of the game, the best they could do was apparently a Google search for Okami box art and pulled it up and printed it off. Well, unbeknownst to them, they pulled up an image that was from the IGN website, and it had the IGN watermark on it. And that actually got printed and put in stores.
I can't believe. I'm assuming it was a port studio because it was someone that Capcom outsourced to. Mm-hmm. I can't even imagine like them getting the phone call being like, "What did you do? Yeah. Why didn't you just ask us for artwork?"
I literally have it sitting in a file waiting to email to you.
Oh, man.
Goodness gracious! Yeah, no, that's gonna be fun. Will you pick it up on PS4? You think?
I'll probably get on Xbox One.
Is it coming to both?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought it was a PlayStation, just PS4.
Well, last generation, it was a PS3 exclusive. It never came to 360. So this is the first time it's actually coming to a Microsoft console.
Oh, okay. So, weird. It was on a Wii, and it was never on an Xbox console?
Yeah, it was never on 360.
Huh. How about that?
Yeah, weird, right?
It started out as a PlayStation exclusive, right?
Yeah, it was a PS2 exclusive. It was a late PS2 exclusive and one of the best, along with Shadow Colossus and trying to think, what is the other one that's like really artsy? Ico, that was the other one. Those three like really artistic games were all PS2 exclusives.
Yeah. So that looks fun.
Did you ever play it?
I did. Yes.
Did you ever beat it?
No.
Oh, man.
It was one of those games where I got into. I really enjoyed. Got to a certain point, and then I think something else came out and distracted me, and that was it.
It's one of the best Zelda games ever made. It really is. It's so good.
Well, it was good. I enjoyed what I played of it, and it's beautiful. So I can't wait to see what it looks like on the PlayStation 4. They announced Rockstar announced what is that game?
LA Noire.
LA Noire coming.
That's super weird.
It is. The weirdest part is it's coming to the Switch also.
Yeah. That's by far the strangest news of all of them. But like out of all the games that Rockstar can port, LA Noire would have been the lowest lowest on the totem pole of ones I thought that they would port.
Yeah. Maybe it's just the most accessible for casual fan base. You know, like the whole detective thing. I don't know. It's weird. They are adding a VR mode, which will be only for the Vive. Which, that's disappointing, because why wouldn't they have a VR mode for the PSVR, you know?
Do you think it's going to be a temporary exclusive? Like it's going to be... Because there's a lot of VR games that were exclusive to Oculus that are now coming to the other platforms, or the other headsets, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll bring it over to PSVR?
I would hope so, but I don't know why it would be exclusive, like when it's coming out to everything else all at the same time. You know?
Yeah. I wonder if they like try to get running on the PSVR and they just couldn't. Either they couldn't get it to work, or they're like actively trying to get it to work, but they didn't want to announce anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could see that selling anyway, like post launch after LA Noire, because it's its own standalone thing anyway.
Sure. That's possible.
And I think the PSVR has the largest. I think it has the largest install base out of all the headsets, if I remember correctly.
Well, it's the cheapest, so I would hope so.
Yeah.
And it's on, yeah.
It's a console that has like 40 million users. Right. I think they sold over 1 million headsets, so that's pretty good.
But yeah, that's cool. Did you ever play LA Noire?
Nope, never did. It was one of those games that came out that everyone was talking about, but I'm pretty sure I was distracted with something else at the time. So
yeah,
because it seems like a game I would like to play, but then like when it came out, it just didn't get around to it.
Mm-hmm. My biggest gripe with it was, I love the detective stuff. I love the interrogation part. I love like scouring the crime scene. Like, I was the guy that bought those CSI games because I liked doing that kind of stuff in video game form. Mm-hmm. So I liked all that about LA Noire. I loved like talking to people and trying to read their emotions and how their faces kind of dictated if they were lying or telling the truth. The open world part, though, was completely unnecessary. I feel like it was just Rockstar showing off their ability to make awesome open world games, except this one didn't need to be open world at all. Like, you could go and steal cars and then like take them to your garage, and then there'd be your car. Like, that was the biggest aspect of it, was just collecting cars. Like, there was like a checklist of all these different cars that you could find and collect, and you just drive around. Like, LA is a beautiful city. They recreated it pretty much spot on. Every landmark, every street back then, like, it was like a perfect representation of what LA was. It just acted as a go here to actually do the fun stuff that's in the game. You know, like, at least in the Grand Theft Auto games, there were all these different things that were going on in the world that would pretty much make you forget that there was a main storyline. You know? Like, you could go off on like different... I don't
think I've ever played... Like, when I played GTA, I don't think I've ever actually completed a story.
Right.
Because it's just... everything around you is distracting you.
Once it opens up, like, that's it. Like, the story doesn't exist anymore. Like, you make your own story. But LA Noire was so story-driven, and that was, like, the entire point of the game. So the open world just acted as a way for you to drive around to get to the next point to open up the story. It was just, beautiful, just, it felt unnecessary, you know? Like, I wasn't playing LA Noire for that open world concept. I was like, I could play a Grand Theft Auto game if I want to, you know?
Right.
So, either way, I'm excited. I look forward to that.
Yeah, are you going to pick it up on Switch or PS4?
I'm leaning towards the PS4 just because of the possibility of it coming to PSVR.
Yeah. I can see that.
It's not that I don't want it on the Switch. It's also more expensive on the Switch, which is bizarre. That's just not a game I want to play on the Switch, I don't think.
It's definitely an odd pairing, and I know it's not PlayStation news, but like they announced Doom for Switch
and Wolfenstein.
And I feel like those are two odd choice. I don't know. I guess I guess I'm thinking about it like in handheld.
Yeah.
It just seems like at first like a pretty fast, frantic first-person shooter. I just feel like would be kind of difficult. But then again, I've never done it with the Switch before, so
Right.
I don't really know. So, but it just seems strange to me.
That frantic, fast pace might work actually well with it being in your hand and looking
Yeah,
down.
that's true. Yeah.
Plus, those games like are pretty mindless. Like you just roll through and just blow up everything that you possibly can.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just fun, gory violence. Whereas LA Noire is so story driven. Like I can't imagine people playing that on the go. You know, because you have to pay attention to things. Like you have to be reading the faces and paying attention to clues and looking for clues. Like like the Switch's big thing is like, oh, you can play it in the train on your way to work or on the bus or in the plane or wherever the case is. I just don't see people being that focused on that kind of game on the Switch. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Switch like attach rate's insane for all these games that are coming out, and that's why more third parties are coming in swarms. My guess is when they announced Skyrim for Switch, Bethesda probably saw pre-order numbers and was like, "Oh crap, we got to get other games on this thing fast." And then they got id. And they're like, "Hey, can you get this on here?" And they figured it out. So
and Rockstar's over there like peeking over their shoulder, like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?"
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that too.
Yeah. We're already working on this thing. Let's throw this thing on the other thing.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Yeah, good news. But yeah, I'll probably end up picking that up if I do. Like, man, there's just so many games out. I don't need to replay LA Noire, but I really want to.
Yeah.
So if I got it, it would be on the PS4, I think.
Gotcha.
So, like the Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition is coming out.
But don't you have all that stuff?
I do. I'm not saying I'm going to buy it. I'm just excited
okay.
that it's coming back out because it came out so early this year.
Oh, that's right. It was this year.
January, man.
Yeah.
That people kind of forgot about it. And there's like a bunch of DLC came out, and there's still more DLC to come, like the free DLC. So, good time to jump on Resident Evil 7. It's coming out like right as people are going to start talking about Game of the Year discussions. And that's totally a game that's going to get forgotten about in every aspect.
Yeah, it's kind of how I felt about The Witness. What is that? Was that last year or 2 years ago?
That was last year.
Yeah, that I just feel like everybody was just kind of like, eh. But when it came out, everybody was just freaking out about that game.
Game of the Year. This is the Game of the Year. Like, I don't even care what people say. This is game. Yeah, and then everything else happened. But like this year is exponentially so much bigger than last year.
Yeah, this
Resident Evil 7
insane.
Is buried.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of games are buried. Like, it's... this is...
Anything before Destiny 2 is done for.
Imagine if Red Dead had came out this year, too, on top of everything else.
Well, we wouldn't have everything else. Everybody else was scattered.
Yeah.
Except Nintendo. They were like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll still have our 110% attach rate for games to consoles.
That's right.
Because that's what they do. Yeah, man, it's September. Like, it should be to the point where we're like, we're in that home stretch of like, this is the end of the year type of thing. But for video games, like I said, this is the start of it. There are so many games coming out, Colin.
October is just...
It's stupid,
nuts.
Man.
It's just nuts. Like, it's game after game after game, and then it's like not just one game each week. It's like multiple games every week in October.
Right. I mean, October 27th is D-Day. Like,
yeah, it really is.
Mario Odyssey, Wolfenstein, and Assassin's Creed Origins. Yeah.
I don't even understand how Assassin's Creed hasn't moved already. Like, I think Wolfenstein has its own like weird cult audience that's going to sell no matter what. But I feel like Assassin's Creed is just like, I don't know. I guess not everyone has Switches, but between those two games, I just feel like
Assassin's Creed has the more mainstream appeal.
Like I guess you're right. There are people that are like, they buy Madden, Call of Duty, and Assassin's Creed every year. Yeah. Like, there are people that do that. So I guess
that's the crowd that they're going for. Like, that crowd there's a Venn diagram, and the Wolfenstein crowd is, like they intersect at some point, but and then Mario Odyssey is just its own thing. Like that's just gonna be amazing. I need that game in my life right now, Colin.
I know.
I know it's a PlayStation week, but I seriously can't stop thinking about that game. And there's so much more to come out before then, but it doesn't matter because that's it. That's
the end all be all. You know what's weird though about Ubisoft games? Like I was thinking about it in terms of like Assassin's Creed and like Ghost Recon and Rainbow Six is those games, they continue to sell even though they've been out for months, which is super weird to me because they just seem like such a flash in the pants and then like that's it. And then moves on to the next game. But then like you hear about like, oh, we added an update and like the user base just like blows up again. I've never been interested in any of those games, like The Division, none of those. So I have no context to go off of, but I find it really crazy that they're like constantly in the top 10.
Well, they do smart things like free demo weekends, and then offer sales on the game like right after the free weekends. So like you could go and like download the demo and like play it for free for that weekend, and then it shuts off and it's like, hey, if you want to keep playing it, you could buy this game and look, it's 30% off today. They do that all the time with those games, and it works. It absolutely works. Like they have to get the games in the hands of players some way, and if it takes a free demo on a weekend, so be it. I'm all for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's really smart.
And those are the type of games like the ones that just don't sound like they have originality behind them, like The Division and Wildland. Like the boring sounding, oh, it's a shooter, it's a team shooter, it's a squad-based shooter. Like with the exception of like Destiny 2, like those just kind of all blend together, in the gaming sphere. So, whatever you could do to make those stand out, like good for them.
Yeah.
I have no problem seeing those in the MPD charts on a monthly basis because, like, you know what? Good, they're doing something right. People are playing games, and people must be liking them because they keep playing them and they keep buying them. That's how it goes, Colin. PlayStation 4. If you have a, it's not a gold membership. PS Plus. There we go. Let's try to remember what the program was. PS Plus membership. You could download Infamous Second Son.
That's so good.
It is underrated. I really think it's underrated.
I think it's still my favorite PS4 exclusive. Like, not re-release, because I think Last of Us would be, like, my favorite, but Last of Us was technically PS3, but I think Second Son... I'm trying to think what else.
Resogun?
Second Son. No. I don't like Resogun that much. Bloodborne was really good, but I liked it more than Bloodborne.
Neo? I
didn't play that one.
Persona 5.
Didn't play that one. Nier is really good, but I still think Second Son is the most fun I've had on my PlayStation since it's been released.
MLB The Show 8.
No, that's
Infamous Second Son is so good. I loved it, man. My biggest gripe with it is, and I don't want to spoil it for people that may not have played it yet, but the last power that you get happens at the end of the game, which is so disappointing because it's so fun to play around with, and it just, once you get it, there's nothing really left in the world for you to use it on, and that's a bummer. Like, there should be like a New Game Plus type of situation where you could start off with it or something.
Well, you only get it for the last encounter, and then after that, it's gone, right? You can't like...
No, you get to keep it, which is fine, like, if you're going to go around and, like, hunt for your last trophies or whatever, if you're trying to platinum the sucker. But most of the city is closed off by then, and there isn't really enemies anymore. So it's really weird. Like, you could still run around and use it. There's just nothing to use it on.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. Like, I get it, like storyline wise. I just wish that you could do something with it after the fact.
I definitely liked what was the name? Delson? Is that right? Or is that Assassin's
that sounds
Creed?
right. No, that sounds right.
I liked him way more than Cole. In fact, I started Infamous 1 and Infamous 2, and I was so annoyed with Cole that I just turned it off. I was like, I don't even want to play this. I hate him. He's so annoying.
Yeah, he's kind of yeah, he wasn't a good dude. Whereas like Delson, I felt like had depth.
He's like a happy-go-lucky guy, and then like bad things start happening, and it kind of changes throughout the game. Versus Cole's like just a grumpy jerk the entire time, and I'm just like, I already have that game. It's called God of War. I don't need to play another one.
Well, that and like with Cole, like depending on like if you try to play the nice or the bad way, like I never felt like it was really defining his character. It was still kind of him doing it for his own sake, you know.
Yeah.
Both of ways of the meter felt selfish. Whereas like with Delson, like when you're playing it as like the good way to play it, like it felt genuine. And like when you got angry, it's like, oh man, he's like angsty and mad, and it just had so much different emotions than Infamous 1 and 2 did that I will never understand people's beef with it. I really won't.
Yeah,
it's beautiful too, man.
Yeah, it's still like you go back and play it, it still looks so good.
Yeah.
So.
I heard it looks amazing on PS4 Pros too, with like
4Ks. Did the base game get updated? I thought it was just the DLC Light. What is it? What was it?
First Light.
Called? First Light, yeah. Which I never played. I need to go back and play that. I have it.
I was gonna say they gave it away for free a few months ago, so
yeah,
that's totally worth playing, dude.
Man, that neon power is
Fetch,
one of the best gaming moments I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks incredible.
And Fetch is awesome character.
Yeah,
and playing
she's
with her
cool.
the whole time. Yeah, big time. So yeah, PS Plus, like go download that game. Like even if you don't have time for it now, like just add it to your library, and when you do have time, please play it. It's so worth it, and I really want another Infamous game. Like, even if it's not with that character, even if it's not with Cole, like, just another game like that. So fun.
Yeah, I feel like the whole, like, sort of superhero game genre just kind of died. Like, that was the last one.
Yeah.
And there really hasn't really been anything like that since then.
Arkham Knight.
I mean, but what I'm saying, I guess the only other thing I can think of is kind of Sunset Overdrive, but it's kind of its own thing too.
Like special powers.
Yeah, like you get new powers throughout the game, and they do different things. Like versus Batman, like you do get new equipment, but it's not like, I don't feel like the gameplay changes significantly versus like an Infamous when you get a new power. Like you get a new power, and it's really cool.
So. Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's still kind of more like Batman.
Yeah, I guess so.
You get gear, not really like...
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, I don't want to spoil the game too much, but, like, different powers do different things to your character, like how you traverse the city, how you can jump on buildings, like, all sorts of different things can happen. And also how you take on enemies changes a lot, too.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I guess they don't really make a lot of superhero or, like, superhuman type of games anymore. Yeah. Spider-Man, I guess, will be the next big one.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man's the next big one, yeah. Which is going to be amazing. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, me too. All right, Colin.
All right, podcast over. This was a good one. All right, bye, guys.
No, Colin, we have to do this. We have to do it. We have to talk about the game of the generation.
Did Mark Cerny, like, did he threaten you?
He paid me a lot of money.
Okay. I didn't know this was sponsored. This is sponsored by Mark Cerny. Awesome.
I mean, all right. I'm sponsored.
Do you think that he could hook me up with a PS4 Pro?
No.
Oh.
Because you won't play this game.
I will if he gives me a free PS4 Pro.
No, you won't.
Well, that's true, but I can tell him I will.
You can check your trophy list.
I will...
Nope.
Okay. I'll Photoshop it.
Just go online. Colin. All other games this year are going to have a hard time contending with this game when it comes to Game of the Year, I think. Okay. In all actuality, this is not the best Game of the Year. Because obviously, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey. But, this might be, dare I say, the best console exclusive game of this year? Yeah?
No.
What?
You were so wrong.
What's better?
Nier?
Okay, that was console exclusive.
Yeah. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy?
Okay, Colin. Here's the deal. KNACK 2 is such a good game.
No.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Okay, are you a fan of character platformers?
Yes.
Mascot platformers?
Yes, love those.
Boom. KNACK 2 is right up your alley. Are you a fan of, like, beat-em-up button mashers?
Sometimes, yes.
Not too heavy on the button mashing, but, like, a couple button mashes to finish off a fight. A brawler, if you will.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Boom. KNACK 2, right up your alley. How do you feel, Colin, about puzzle games?
I like puzzle games.
A la Portal 2, per se.
Okay, yeah.
Boom. KNACK 2, right up your alley. All this and more, Colin, is in KNACK 2. You like story? KNACK 2 has your back. Do you like interesting bad guys? KNACK 2 has your back. Do you like size shifting and size displacement and size changing in games? KNACK 2 has your back. Did you ever play Lego Dimensions, Colin?
Yes.
You know, like those size puzzles where you'd have to activate the stone and you put your little minifigure on the portal and it would grow big and you could do something and then you'd have to shrink them down, so you'd have to move them over and move them onto the small side, and then you could shrink down and you could do something else. Do you remember those puzzles?
Yeah.
Okay. KNACK 2 has that without the cumbersome having to move actual physical figures around to change size. KNACK just changes size on a button press, Colin. That's all it takes. One press of the button. Oh, you want little KNACK? Boom. Now you could go in little grates and sewer holes and cubby holes and holes in sides of mountains and all kinds of places that big KNACK couldn't reach. And then, it's time for combat. It's time to kick some fools' butts. I'm going to reactivate and gather up all the pieces. And within a second, maybe less, you're big KNACK and you're ready to fight and brawl. It's flawless. It's seamless. It works so well. The best part of it, Colin, is you turn up that speaker on your controller. I'm having a hard time remembering what the controllers are called.
DualShock 4.
The DualShock 4 controller. You turn the speaker up on that sucker, and you could hear every little particle flying around, connecting, making contact with the bigger combination that is KNACK. You hear them drop. You could hear each little piece drop to the ground, Colin.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the PS4 has had a game use that speaker since the launch of the PS4.
Yeah, when the original KNACK came out. Also, the other game to use it effectively, oddly enough, Infamous Second Son.
And Last of Us, too.
What did that Last of Us use for the speaker? The clickers?
For the voice recordings.
Oh, that's right. That was good. That was good. Good call.
That's cool that I feel like that's a feature that more people should use because it's really neat. It's like it makes that controller unique to the other systems.
Right, right. Especially when you forget that it's there, and then something happens, and you're like, oh, whoa, what am I holding? Oh, this is cool. Like, you just have that moment where you forget that there's a speaker, then you're fantastically reminded that it exists. That's what happened with KNACK 2. Okay. The story isn't riveting.
You don't say.
However, it's not bad. Best part of it, Colin, you could skip through every cutscene that you want. You could move right. It doesn't force you to watch anything that you don't want to watch. It's basically a toned down, more cartoony version of Uncharted. Well, because you're with some explorers and they're looking for lost treasure. Except the humans don't really do much except follow you around, and you just get to be a big monster and beat up trolls and robots and everything in between. It's a fun game, Colin. I'm not saying it's the deepest. It's not going to make you have some sort of emotional connection to anything. You're not going to be thinking about the story after you're done playing it. But you're going to have fun playing it, and that's the important thing with this game. I've yet to run into an area where I'm just like, oh god, I don't want to play this anymore. I don't want to do this, or like, this is so frustrating. Like, every time, like, it has just the right balance of combat and puzzles to where if there was one more bad guy, like, there will be points where if there's just one more bad guy, I'd be like, okay, this is too much combat. I'm done with this. And it never gets to that point. And then a puzzle will pop up, and I'll do a puzzle. And it never gets to that point where it's like, okay, I've been working on this puzzle for too long now. I just want to go back and beat things up. Or I just want to go collect things or anything like that. Like, the balance is so well done. It's so well figured out that it's really hard to explain until you play it.
I mean, it sounds good. I tried to play the first one at a PS4 kiosk, and I just got so disenchanted with that I just, like, the anger for that game boiled over. And then when people said, when it came out and it didn't review well, I was like, yeah, I remember not liking it at all, just even in the demo. And when they announced the sequel, I'm like, why? Why is this a thing? Who wants this? I have that answer, Josh. It's you. You want this.
I do want this, Colin. It's also a budget title, a budget blockbuster, if you will.
I love that PlayStation has been doing that, though. They did that with Ratchet and Clank last year, and they're doing it with this. And then Uncharted was also $40, but it was also kind of a smaller game, but still, like,
sure.
Like, I love that they have that budget tier. And usually budget tier games are not good.
Right.
And I haven't played KNACK. I like to troll a lot about KNACK. I haven't actually played it, so I can't really say one way or the other definitively. But I love that these games, even though they're $40, are high quality.
Right.
Like, they're not just crap something out, recore.
Yeah. It doesn't try to do anything more than it should, if that makes sense. Like, it knows exactly what it is as a game, and it focuses and perfects those things and doesn't go beyond that. You know, it's not trying to be a Portal 2 when it comes to its puzzles. It's not trying to be an Uncharted when it comes to its story. It's not trying to be... I can't even think of a really good brawler these days. They don't really exist. Like, it knows exactly its lane, and it stays in its lane to a T. You know? And I appreciate that. Like, way too often games try to be way more than they should be. They overreach. A la Recore. Like, that was a perfect example. It's a fun game. Like, when you play Destiny, Colin, how engaged with you, honestly, are you with the story? or what's going on around you?
I mean, the first game, not at all. The second, like Destiny 2,
Sure.
like I was definitely a lot more involved with the story
Yeah,
now. But
that's
now
fair.
that I'm at the end game, I don't like there's side stories and stuff. But I'm so like determined to, grind to get the best gear possible that I'm not really paying attention to what people are saying to me or the story that's around me. I'm just trying to get to the next thing to
Okay.
get the more loot.
Yeah. You like the gameplay,
Yeah,
right?
gameplay's amazing.
It's a good game to probably put a podcast onto or
Mm-hmm.
another TV or something, listen to or watch or something while you're doing it.
Yep.
That's kind of what I found out with KNACK 2. Like, I was just kind of zoning away, and, it was quiet when I was playing. Like, I wasn't trying to focus on anything, and it was just relaxing. It was, I'm going to clear my mind, and I'm just going to have fun beating up these things. Because the gameplay is so solid. Like, it never gets frustrating. It's hard to really quantify how good it is at what it does without somebody playing it.
I mean, it's that. That's
Okay,
a
it's like, okay, Destiny 2, right? The big thing that people always say about Destiny or Destiny 2 is the shooting is so good. It feels so good, right?
mhm.
How do you accurately and properly describe that to somebody who isn't playing that game?
Yeah,
It's tough, right?
It's definitely tough.
Like, you could sit there and say all you want that the shooting just feels so good, but what does that ultimately mean? You don't really know until you pick up a controller, you pop somebody in the head, you're like, I get it. That's what KNACK 2 is, Colin. KNACK 2 is the shooting part of Destiny. It just works, and you don't really know why. I'm not saying jump in because it's going to be a great story. Maybe you'll like the story. It's not a bad story. It's just run of the mill. There's nothing overly
Nope.
ambitious with it.
No better than a Mario story, I'm sure.
Exactly. But man, just shrinking and growing and just beating fools up and collecting things. And as you collect more pieces, like, it just adds on to your body. So you progressively through the level get bigger and bigger. And you don't really notice it. Like, each time you pick up a couple pieces, you don't notice it. You don't notice the size change. But then eventually, every level, you get to a point where you're like, oh, I'm massive right now. And that's perfect because here's this giant end level boss of sorts that I need to pound into the ground. And like, it scales so quietly and secretively that it's not jamming it down your throat that, oh, look, every time you're picking these up, you're getting bigger. Like, it just happens naturally and organically and fluidly to where, like I said, all of a sudden you're walking by a building, you're like, oh, I'm almost as tall as this building now. How did that happen? Because, like, it's a very linear game. There's not a lot of random exploration that you could do. Like, every once in a while, there'll be, oh, if you look over on this left-hand side, there's a little nook that you could crawl into and pick up a chest. But other than that, it's pretty much, like, straightforward, If you're looking for the hidden secrets, you have to dig a little bit deeper. But it's very linear. It's very straightforward. There's pretty much just one path to follow, which is fine. But the way the levels are designed, every piece of architecture that you come across kind of is designed to scale to where you should be at as a character in size. So, when you start out, you're, walking around in a little building or something. By the end of it, you're standing next to a skyscraper or this big temple or something like that. And it just happens without you ever really paying attention. And then, boom, now you're giant and you feel like Pacific Rim Jaeger, and you're just going to smash something until it's dead.
I'm on board. All right, you got me at Pacific Rim.
I mean, there's no cool swords, so.
Oh well.
But he does have
still sounds pretty cool though.
Punch and kick and body slam, and it's dumb fun, man. And I haven't tried the co-op part of it yet, but the levels that I've played, like I've thought about like what it would be like if there's two knacks doing this at the same time. Oh man, it would feel like a classic arcade beat 'em up brawler type game where you're just smashing fools left and right. Have you ever wanted to hit a troll, Colin? Now's your chance.
Man, every day of my life.
Trolls and goblins, robots, big robots, giant robots. Have it all, Colin. Have it all. There's also a skill tree, which I'm impressed by. I don't remember KNACK 1 having a skill tree. It might have, and I don't remember it, but it doesn't feel like it did. This game has a skill tree. It's very basic. It's very simplistic. Easy to understand, easy to follow along with, easy to kind of grasp the concept of what a skill tree is for maybe younger players that have not had to deal with skill trees before. You know, those of us that haven't played Mario and Rabbids our entire life that don't know about skill trees need a little extra help, and that's what KNACK 2 is there for. Let's see, what else can I talk about? It's just fun, man. It's just fun. Games, dang it, should be fun. I hate playing games where I get frustrated or mad at and angry and bitter or bored or it's just fun, and that's what video games are supposed to be. Fun. I'm going to try it out this weekend when my daughter comes over and try co-op and see what she thinks of it, because I think it is easy enough to where she can run along side by side with me and just punch things as well.
Yeah, that's cool that it has a co-op mode. I think it's only offline though, right? There's no online.
Correct. Yeah, the local play only.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's so cool though. That's in there. It's kind of like the Lego games. Those are always way more fun with two people.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, you could be red knack or blue knack, because what better way to differentiate two different things, right? Than red and blue. Man, KNACK 2. Okay, for a $40 game, it is better than it has any right to be. Like, all joking aside, when it was announced that KNACK 2 was coming out and people lost their collective minds, they're like, why would you make a sequel to a game that nobody liked? Well, I think a lot of people liked KNACK. I'm not saying all the people that you may follow on Twitter or listen to on podcasts. You know, I think it definitely served a completely different audience that you and that most of us may not be in touch with. But KNACK 2 definitely serves a purpose. I don't feel like they're trying to force KNACK to be like the PlayStation mascot. But it's also nice to know that there are those, like, the resurgence of mascot platformers is happening. You know, we got the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. You said the Ratchet and Clank last year. We have this game. Like, it feel Spyro. You know, Spyro's coming. It's just
Ukulele.
Yeah, like all of those games aren't deep, aren't in depth. They're just fun. They're fun to play, and it takes me back to when I was a kid and I played games just because they were fun, bad or good. You know, KNACK 2 is pretty good, Colin.
I'll take your word for it. I mean, if it's a good sale down the road, I might pick it up.
Absolutely. It absolutely will be on sale. It'll be on a PSN flash sale or holiday season. They'll discount it, and yeah, it's. And right now it's $40. Like, if you get it for $20, like, for those of you that may be skeptical about KNACK 2, sure, wait for a sale. I'm saying, just don't pass it off as a kid's game or pass it off as a bad game based on its reputation alone, because I think its reputation is unjustified. Because it's not a bad. I've played bad games before, Colin. This is not a bad game. Did I tell you about Recore? Sorry, Recore. I mean, not sorry. You guys didn't finish the game.
Yeah.
And now you're selling a new copy of the game that's finished now? Get out of here.
Well, luckily, if you bought the original version, you get the update. But at that point, it's like, who's still playing that game?
Nobody's sitting there like, man, I can't wait for this update. I can't wait for this update. Yeah. I mean, is it as good as Sunset Overdrive? No. It's not, Colin. It's not. I'm not going to pretend like it is. Is it better than you think it is? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. KNACK has your back. That's all I can say about KNACK 2, my friend. That's it.
That is more than I think anyone has ever said about KNACK 2. So you deserve a medal, an award, and a trophy, as it were.
Oh, I got plenty of KNACK trophies, and there's going to be more in my future.
I'm sorry. So sorry.
Colin, this has been a fun episode.
Yeah.
Next week is our etc. episode. I have no idea what we're going to do for it.
Do we ever know what we're going to do?
Usually not, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I didn't plan ever, so.
We planned our E3 etc. episode.
Did we, though?
Our prediction episode? Yeah. We were both looking forward to it for months.
That's true.
Yeah. Past that, no. We usually don't plan it out. But by next week, we'll figure out what we're talking about. We'll have fun regardless. Because that's what we do here at Joys of Games. We have fun playing games. Colin, where can people find you at?
They can find me on the Twitter at PDX_geek.
What if they wanted to play KNACK 2 with you?
Ooh, you can add me on Xbox Live. I'm on Cabooses Hero. You can play Destiny with me. Please send me an invite. I'll join up with you. As for KNACK 2, you're going to have to wait.
What's your home address so people could come and actually sit on the couch and play KNACK 2 with you?
123 P.O. Box Fake Street, Oregon. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Is that actually a zip code?
I'm sure it is somewhere.
Man, I'm moving to that place.
That's probably where all the Santa letters go. Is that place?
You can find me personally on Twitter at The Noise with a Y. You can follow the show on Twitter at Joys of Games. Like I said, next week is our etc. episode. We'll do something fun as always. Thank you again, Colin, for a wonderful episode and allowing me to talk about KNACK, which I'm sure I won't have the opportunity to do for probably a couple years. So it's good to get it out of my system.
Yeah, you just got to wait for KNACK 3, and then we can talk about it again.
Yeah, or KNACK 2, the definitive edition.
Yeah, okay.
KNACK 2 Game of the Year edition.
That would be called KNACK 2's KNACK's Back.
Back in KNACK.
Back in KNACK.
Are you? I'm just going to stop it there because it's going to go south real quick. Hope everybody out there is playing some games. Hope you're having fun. Enjoy them, folks. And buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy next couple months. But a fun one. Good night.